I'm Tyler Souters in the Energy News Center. The latest White House budget proposal was released on a Monday, and now 3 days later, Energy Secretary Chu was on Capitol Hill defending the budget requests for his department. Clean Skies' Dee Bombani was at today's hearing before the Senate Energy Committee and has this report.
Top Republican lawmakers pressed the Energy Secretary today on his priorities for 2011. The DOE budget proposes to cut funding for oil, natural gas, and coal, and above all, the Yucca Mountain project. The Department of Energy wants to eliminate a dozen tax breaks for the oil, natural gas, and coal sectors. It wants to scale back the Strategic Petroleum Reserve by $71 million to hold a 90-day supply of emergency oil reserves. And it wants to kill the ultra-deepwater exploration program to find new sources of domestic oil and gas. But the department wants to spend more than $100 million to expand the wind sector and more than $300 million to help the solar industry. That's just a glimpse of why Senate Republicans are not pleased with the DOE budget request for fiscal 2011. Ranking member Lisa Murkowski of Alaska says the request favors renewables and the budget does not reflect what the president himself promised in his State of the Union address. Murkowski's other major complaint is that the budget proposes a $36 billion increase in loan guarantees for nuclear projects, but not a single loan guarantee has been issued for nuclear projects from the original $18 billion outlined in the 2007 Energy Act.
I'm certainly very, very pleased to see additional funding for the loan guarantee program that Congress established in 2005. But I am frustrated that DOE has still not issued a loan guarantee for nuclear power, and I hope that we can expect that first one shortly. Perhaps more troubling to me is the department's plan to withdraw its Yucca Mountain application from the NRC with prejudice within the next 30 days. This leaves us without a viable repository option at this point, and it exposes taxpayers to billions in liability for the government's breach of contract. Now, some agencies' budget requests are also inconsistent with the desire to increase the nation's energy security through domestic oil and gas production. Not only does the budget request propose to cancel a $71 million project that would add needed capacity to the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, it contains substantial tax and fee increases for domestic oil and gas producers. These policies are clearly not designed to spur more domestic production.
Another sore point in the budget for Republicans is DOE's intention to zero out funding for the Yucca Mountain project. North Carolina Republican Richard Burr told Energy Secretary Chu that killing Yucca Mountain without a ready alternative to store nuclear waste is irresponsible. He said it prevents the nuclear industry from having the confidence to build plants. Also, it's unclear what DOE will do with the nuclear waste fund. Nuclear power customers have been paying a surcharge for decades to build up the fund that was supposed to be used to build the Yucca Mountain repository, 90 miles from Las Vegas.
You're the one that's going to have to tell ratepayers that there's not a plan for permanent storage, but they're going to continue to be soaked by the federal government, a required payment through their utility bill to fund the storage. I find that unacceptable, to be quite honest with you. They've been paying into this for years, and they got nothing. And we don't even have a plan now as to where we're going to go.
The secretary seemed to take his critics in stride. He said the country is moving toward a clean energy future, and the budget is a reflection of that. He also said Yucca Mountain is not an option. There are better ways to deal with waste.
This is a century thing, and so the nuclear waste fund is the amount of money that will be needed going forward. There is going to come a time when there will be no economic value. It is truly waste, and therefore you want to dispose of it permanently. When you do that, then there are better geological sites that we know are stable over tens of millions of years. The senator who was asking me that question didn't actually let me finish, and so those are ideal sites. You put it in there, you no longer have access to it. Well, that actually makes it better, quite frankly. These are the salt dome type sites where the salt oozes around.
The Department of Energy still has more than half of its stimulus dollars left to spend, and that raises the question whether or not the Department of Energy needs a 7% increase in its fiscal 2011 budget. In Washington, Dee Bombani, Clean Skies News.
So a proposed increase in funding for the Department of Energy, but the White House budget proposal is actually asking for a cut, 3.2% in funding for the Environmental Protection Agency for fiscal year 2011. I'm Tyler Suiters. You're watching Clean Skies News.